the post-sale follow-up. And I will say, when agents actually start utilizing the follow-up appointment or the follow-up process, it's being noted right now as one of the biggest things to make a difference in an insurance agency's profitability and their residual income and their referrals. It is a huge difference maker if you do it correctly. What we want to do here, and what our goal always is here, is to make sure you stay really productive and not busy. So if you do the follow-up appointment wrong, you get caught up in a lot of the busy work and don't see a lot of profit come from that. So that's what we're going to focus on today. Starting with the why. Why do we at Senior Marketing Specialists recommend the post follow-up appointment, or the follow-up appointment process? Sadie, start talking. I'm not using my words well.
Yes. So the first point here is you want to maintain your position as a point of contact for all health insurance needs. Here's the thing. So you write your business, you get them on a policy, Q1 comes around. If they're not happy with their plan, what they're on, you should be the person that knows about it. You should know about it. If they're happy with their plan, you should know about it. But the thing is you want to make sure that you set up the expectation that however they feel about it, they need to let you know you are their point of contact. Because here's the thing. We'll kind of get into this a little bit. No, I'm going to say that comment because we'll get into it a little bit later. But
foreshadowing.
Marketing it's really easy to market now as far as platforms, especially with social media and whatnot. So there's going to be other agents that are in front of your clients. You need to make sure that they know that if they have a health insurance need, that they go to you and not someone else.
It is so important to stay top of mind, to be the person and we want to do what like Kleenex did to the facial tissue industry or chapstick did to the lip balm. When they think insurance, they need to think your name. The only way you do that is to maintain that top of mind, to maintain that relationship with them. And keeping in mind as well, what we're seeing a ton right now with the growing of social media, with the growing of these telemarketed, but not a lot of people are switching insurance and not understanding that they are. They're answering questions, they're just doing what they're being told on the phone, end up with a different insurance, different agent. And so making sure that if they have to know, if I have a question, I have a pending appointment with my agent, or I know exactly who is the person that I need to talk to. Number 2 is going into the continued sales opportunity. I mentioned right here, we'll talk about this a little bit more later, but AEP really limits what you're able to present and what you're able to sell on during the appointment. Even though, and what's really frustrating about that is that whenever you thought like, oh, I don't get to bring this up or I can't bring this up, it limits, it really makes the client devalue that.
Yeah.
Because if it's not important enough to talk about at a government mandated conversation, then is it really important?
That's true.
So that follow-up appointment gives you that platform to have further conversations of products that are really important that you didn't get to discuss during AEP.
For sure. And also, we will talk about this a little bit later, but you have to keep in mind, if you're someone who mainly right now is just sticking with core products, that's fine, but keep in mind that core products really just, as you always say, they keep the lights on, and then ancillary is really where you start kind of bringing in more of that profit. So we'll dive into that in just a little bit, but it's better for your clients and it's better for your business as far as profitability.
And then last but not least, the why are follow-up appointments so important. Sadie mentioned it earlier, your clients are someone else's prospect. Just because somebody is working with you, the agent, doesn't mean that that person's not going to receive any other marketing or hear from anybody else. I want to continue with, for 2022, this year's OEP and this year's trial right, we saw so many people during this AEP particular go from a Medicare supplement plan and for the first time ever enrolling into a Medicare Advantage plan because of all those bells and whistles. So you're going to have we're seeing that across the board. So this year, regardless of, good, bad, or indifferent, when you have that big of a migration, you're going to have some migration back, which means OEP is going to be wild and the trial right period is going to be wild. People are going to be looking for answers. People are going to have a lot of questions. You're going to see a lot more activity Q1 than we've seen in years past. So just making sure, again, that you're providing a platform for people to be able to communicate with you, as well as not making somebody search for information via internet because you weren't there for them.
Yes.
The best way that I can attest when it comes to why follow-up appointments, if you think about it like this way, taking it out of the insurance industry, one of the best industries that have finalized and have perfected follow-up appointments are actually dentists. Dentists are super easy, and I'll be the first to tell you because I have, don't judge me, not been to the dentist in 3 years. Because the last time I went to the dentist, my dentist said, oh, we need to set up a follow-up appointment, but I'm actually going to be out for extended amount of time. So why don't you call back here in a couple of months? We'll get you an appointment. Prior to that, I was a 2 times a year dentist goer. I left one time without getting a follow-up appointment and haven't been back in 3 years. So dentists are that same way. That's what the way that I like to run follow-up appointments is basically I mirror off of what we've done in the dental industry. So moving on. So let's talk about this. We talked about 2 reasons why, primarily, when we went through our reasons why, there's really 2 of them stand out. Number 1 is retention. I would add referrals onto that as well. Retention and referrals go hand in hand. Happy people stay with you. Happy people talk about you. So retention and referrals, and then we also talk about the additional profit, the additional product. So let's start first with that retention.
Yes, retention. I love retention. I love talking about retention. I love learning new retention techniques, and I'll tell you why. Retention is truly the foundation for a successful agency. That might feel a little bit like a bold statement, but it is.
It is.
And here's the thing, our industry, for better or for worse, is a very lead hungry industry, and that's okay. We love leads, but where people kind of go wrong is they bring all these leads on and then they fail to maintain them.
Yeah.
And that maintaining it is where you're going to make your profit. It costs more money.
Right.
We know it costs more money to bring someone on than it does to maintain. So if you have a good retention process down, then you will be building wealth more consistently, I guess.
Yeah, and that's just, I mean, it's no secret. If you've been working in the insurance and the senior insurance for any time at all, the commissions when it comes to MedSup or Medicare Advantage aren't the highest commissions out there. It's nothing compared to being a real estate agent, working in annuities, working in life insurance. But the difference is that we get paid over the span of 6, 7, sometimes even more than that, the same commission for an extended amount of time. So we don't make much of a profit year 1. We actually start seeing the profit and like what can you retire off of, what is sellable. That doesn't start until after year 2 of owning that business. So retention is wildly important in order to build a career in this industry. So that's, again, exactly why we recommend the follow-up appointment, is that retention side of it. So never leave a follow-up appointment without setting up the next. This is exactly what I was talking about with my dentist. My dentist one time did not set up my next appointment, and I haven't been back in 3 years. And it's because, again, one thing that I would mention is that you need to capitalize on that relationship at the height of that relationship. When you help somebody save money, you help somebody build a comprehensive package, you build that relationship with them. But when they leave your office or you leave their home, that relationship starts deteriorating because they're on to the next thing. Life comes in. It's not like anybody's like thrilled about the process of buying insurance. It's not like a fun thing that people do. So you need to capitalize on that relationship when it's there. Because if you don't do that and you end up having to call them back later, trying to set up an AEP appointment, you're having to resell yourself.
It's the easiest for you and the easiest for them. Make it easy for them.
Yeah.
And then also if you just build that into kind of your appointment process, make sure to tack that on. That also sets the expectation. They can expect that at the end of each of your appointments, you're going to have a next time already set up whenever they can see you. It's also helping setting their expectations of what it looks like, and they know they can always talk to you. They know they're going to get to.
Setting the expectations is huge there. Because again, what you don't want to do is have to call your clients later and your client's like, oh, they're calling me. What are they trying to sell me now? What are they trying to get in front of me? I don't have time for this. Just go ahead and set that appointment. It sets the expectation that you are in this for the long haul. This isn't a one-time sale. You set the expectation that you're my lifetime client now. It's also, again, something I would mention, especially with this number 3, is going to be those 7 points of contact. 7 points of contact is kind of the industry standard. It's what it takes for you to maintain that top of mind. A follow-up appointment is the most powerful form. So the other forms, of course, like thank you letters, birthday cards, social media. But the reason why that a follow-up appointment is the strongest version of that contact is because you get to do a lot of servicing things. If you or your admin staff, you can do things like set them up with the gym membership that they got with an MA plan, have them schedule their first dentist appointment, help them understand the over-the-counter drug benefits, things like that. Things that are not necessarily selling, but things that are helping them build a relationship with your agency and build a relationship with that product. That way they don't get rid of it. You're going to be building more of that sticky base. They're going to be much less likely to switch later on because they're utilizing it in sickness and in health. So this point of contact is the best way to gain those referrals, and I guarantee you gain you retention.
We do have a good question.
Yeah. And I can't read that far away, so I'm not wearing my glasses.
Terry asks, how much in the future is a good time? Like, I'm assuming to set like in a follow-up appointment.
Oh,
like,
gotcha. It genuinely depends. If I'm doing it during AEP, I'm going to set up my follow-up appointment first quarter, because first quarter, if you have a follow-up appointment set, it protects you against OEP, it protects you against the trial right period, and it gives you an opportunity to teach your clients how to use that plan. Now, if you have an administrative staff, it's a great, the first quarter follow-up, it's a really great thing for your admin team to do, to teach them how to use their plan, allows you to kind of get out of that weeds. But if it is somebody that you're also, or if you don't have admin staff or you want to handle that, we'll talk about here in a second, but it's also the best opportunity to do a follow-up sales appointment and actually like sell product at that time as well. So I would do mine first quarter. And even if it's just over the phone, like, hey, I'm going to call you at this time at this date, even if you're not having to do in person, doing a virtual follow-up is fine too. And then of course, from after my first quarter one, I will always set my follow-up appointment during an AEP, the first couple weeks of October. And just kind of that way, by the time AEP gets here, I'm not frantically trying to set my appointments. My appointment's already set for my quarter one appointment.
Yeah.
So that's what I would do.
Cool. And then that last bullet point here, create sticky clients. Now, this is a term that we kind of like coined in our office. Clayton on our outreach team, I think, was he the one is that where that
it actually came from Clint Geyer, who is the vice president of our sister company, a captive agency.
There we go.
Was talking about, he was actually talking about in regards to Apple products, how anybody who has an Apple product, iWatch, iPhone, iPad, are very sticky clients. Yes. And so that's what, in regards to what has that done?
Okay, so yes, the first person I heard about it was Clayton from our team, and we did a webinar over this. I'll go ahead and put that in the follow-up email as well, just the recording of that. But basically, yes, that's essentially what she was saying. What are ways that you can get clients to stick to you? What can you do to get them to stay on board with you? And this is kind of a two-pronged system here. One of them is customer experience, and the other one is multiple product lines. So we'll start with multiple product lines because we kind of just talked about it. The example that we gave was Apple. You start out buying an iPhone, and then you buy an Apple Watch because it pairs well with your iPhone, and then you buy an iPad because you have it, and you have a MacBook. That's just kind of what it is. And then you get to a point, a new fancy sort of like Garmin watch comes out, or a new tablet, or a new kind of laptop, and you say, that looks really cool, I'd love to explore that, but I am already so invested in this Apple. I already can get everything on one line. I have everything with this company. I'm just going to stick with that. And that's a good thing. That's a great thing for Apple. It's a really brilliant thing that they have done. Really great retention process. So that's kind of that multiple product lines.
Right. No, that's perfect.
Okay, perfect. And then on that, again, we did a whole webinar over this, so I'm trying to keep it short. But on that customer experience, that's the other side. And we use Chick-fil-A as the perfect example for that. Here's the thing with Chick-fil-A. It has good chicken, but all it has is chicken. All you're going to get there is chicken. You're not going to get anything else, but people go back time after time after time.
They'll put themselves in the mood for chicken.
Yes, exactly, because they want that customer experience that they get. The drive-through line might be around the building and down the block, but you can bet you're probably going to get out there pretty fast because they have people outside in raincoats working on it saying, my pleasure. It's all in the details at Chick-fil-A. It's an amazing customer experience that keeps people going back time and time again. And it creates sticky clients. People are loyal to Chick-fil-A. And so you have those two different things. If you have both of those together, then you get something. What we used was Amazon as the example. Amazon makes it super easy. The experience is really great, and you can get everything you need all in one place. It's a one-stop shop, and they even have like that buy now. You can skip the checkout completely, buy it, and you instantly buy it. It's little things like that. It's really good experience, good returns, all that sort of stuff. It has both of those. Both of those together. So yeah, I hope that makes sense.
The other thing I would mention, like with the sticky clients, is you have to find a way to make your competition obsolete. So not only is it, creating that customer experience, creating that multiple product and that loyalty through products, but making your competition obsolete. So again, I'll take it back to like my dentist example. If I have a dentist, and let me just say, like, let's say I chip my tooth or something, I feel like I have a cavity happening. Well, if I have an appointment coming up, I'm not then going to go ahead and ask my friends, like, hey, I have a chipped tooth, who can get me in? The first thing I'm going to do is call my dentist because I have a relationship with them. I have an upcoming appointment, and saying like, hey, can you get me in earlier? Or sometimes they'll even just like, oh, I have a dentist appointment coming up in a couple weeks, I'm going to wait till then. So whenever you do have that follow-up appointment, it's kind of your foot in the door, to a way to keep your competition out, keeping them at bay. There's no reason to talk to this 1-800 number. There's no reason to call Joe Namath. I have a pending appointment with my agent. I'm either going to wait till then, or I'm going to call and have it bumped up.
Yeah.
So that's as far as the retention and the referral side of this goes. Moving on to the ancillary side, which is kind of, again, like we talked about, the Apple approach to this. Having more product built, again, when you have more, being able to actually sell multiple product lines at these appointments. Because again, when you're doing an AEP appointment, you're not able to talk about home health care, final expense, cancer insurance. You can only talk about hospital indemnity, DVH, and of course those core Medicare products. Doesn't mean that home health care, final expense, cancer, long-term care, annuity, doesn't mean that it's not important. The government just deemed that that wasn't something that needed to be discussed at that time. So it gives you that opportunity to kind of come back to that. So number one, cross-selling is a great retention strategy. Exactly what you talked about, the Apple stuff.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what it goes back to, is those things kind of work hand in hand. And the more lines that they have with you, the more products that they have with you, yeah, they're going to stick with you. If they can get everything that they need from you, why would they go to someone else? They're just going to keep going back to you for their needs. That's how it should be.
And there is that Lemur study that I think has just been beat to death that came out in 2012, which is talking about the percentage of loyalty in relation to the amount of products with you.
Yeah.
One product with you, they're less than 40%. It was like 32% likely to stay with you. Two products that jumped up to under 70%, but two products with you, over 50% of the time they're loyal. Three products with you, then they're loyal more than 90% of the time, meaning that only 10% of the time will somebody have a product away from you. So again, there is a huge relationship between the amount of products you have with me and the loyalty you have towards me. Again, I'm going to call it the Apple factor. The Apple factor, same thing. Number two, with the ancillary sales, again, we talked about it a little bit, but I don't want to take any more thunder. Cancer, home healthcare, final expense, just those products are not allowed to be discussed during an AEP appointment.
Yep. Once you sign that scope, you cross that bridge, you can only talk about what's on the scope. So you're not able to talk about those other things, which is totally fine. It gives you an opportunity to set up a follow-up appointment. It gives you an opportunity to get that FaceTime again, which we all know is so important. But also keep in mind, it's a good idea to set up a follow-up appointment if in that appointment with that Medicare Advantage plan, you didn't get to pair that hospital indemnity with it, or the Medicare supplement, and you didn't get to pair that DVH. That's a quarter one's a really good time to make sure that you're setting up follow-up appointments to get those paired, because those are important to pair together, of course.
And I think what it all comes down to is setting the expectations early in that appointment, saying things like, you know, I'm not going to be able to, we have an hour today, and we have to sign this scope of appointment. I cannot discuss everything with you that I make sure I discuss with my clients, because I take care of my clients holistically. So we're going to go ahead and take care of your Medicare Advantage, your PDP. We're going to go ahead and take care of that today. But in order for me to do my job correctly, I'm going to need you back in here after the first of the year to discuss everything. Because again, I don't sleep at night if my clients aren't taken care of holistically.
Yes.
You set that expectation early, then whenever you're asking for a follow-up appointment, they're expecting it. It's just part of that process. Again, setting the expectations can make or break an appointment.
Yes. And then that last one, choose one carrier for each product and start selling. Olivia always says, I hear her say all the time, shop benefits, not carriers. And
yeah, no, you nailed it.
I know, but for some reason, whenever I said it out loud, even though I've said it a million times, I was like, do I have that backwards? No,
maybe it was the grunt afterwards. But no, the shop benefits, not carriers. Keep going.
Yes. So one thing that sometimes hold people back from adding these ancillary products to their portfolio is, I don't have time, you know, I'm busy doing this, I'm busy doing that. But here's the thing, ancillary, you want to make it easy for both you, but you also want to make it easy for your client. If you've gone through this appointment, you walk them through all these sorts of things, of course they don't want to hear, well, we've already signed this. Well, okay, now what about a hospital indemnity plan? If you have to go through the whole process of finding a carrier and finding all this stuff again, they're not going to do it. I would say most ancillary products aren't going to vary in a big enough way where you have to have multiple on. Pick one hospital indemnity carrier. Pick one DVH carrier, and so on and so forth. Have those on so that way all the conversation has to be is, okay, we have you set up with that Medicare Advantage plan. Would you like hospital indemnity? Here's the risks. Here's the pros. Here's the cons. Would you like it? Yes or no? And then all they have to do is answer yes or no. They don't have to go through that whole process again.
You're the expert.
Yep.
When it comes to those ancillary products, they expect you to do the shopping and the research ahead of time. So Zadie said exactly right. It's a yes or no. It's not a this or that. It's a yes or no. If it were me today, and I was like, again, setting up a follow-up appointment, here's what my follow-up appointment process would look like. Step one, I would reacquaint them. And let's just say it was a Medicare Advantage plan. Step one, and during that follow-up appointment, I would reacquaint them. Take 5 minutes. Reacquaint them with that Medicare Advantage plan. Go back through the benefits. Go back through everything they had. If I had administrative staff, I would have my administrative staff take the first 10 minutes, 5 minutes of the appointment to do that. Part two, I would go ahead and say, have you made your dental appointments? Have you here's the over-the-counter benefits? I would go ahead and not only reintroduce them to their plan, but start teaching them how to use that plan. That might be a 20-minute process. So we're 30 minutes into this follow-up appointment. The last 30 minutes, what I'm going to do is sit down and say, here are the holes and coverages that we have. We went ahead and got you set up with this plan. I mentioned during the AEP appointment that I wasn't able to go over everything. I just have to make sure that you know your options, so that if you want to go ahead and take care of this today, or if something happens, you want to come back, we can. But I'm not doing my job if I don't let you know the holes in your coverages right now. Yes. So my follow-up appointment, whole process is an hour. That whole thing is 1 hour, application and everything included. So that is what my post AEP follow-up appointment would look like.
Yes, I love it.
Yes. Thank you, Brian, as always, for your colorful commentary. So this is what's next, guys. Again, we do like to keep these a little short, a little sweet. If you do want to have more conversation about that follow-up appointment, please give us a call. But what do we do next? Number one, you create your retention plan, your retention strategy. And I know we recommend a seven-step marketing, 7 touch point retention system.
Yes, and some people even argue that 7 is the least amount of times that you should be. Like, that's the last. Just depends on who you talk to. Yeah. But, you know, we have some people in the office that say, hey, 7, we think 7 is the least amount of times you should be talking. But anyway, 7, and that might sound like, gosh, 7, like that's not. But if you're doing newsletters once a quarter, that's 4, 2 follow-up appointments, and then a holiday card. There you go. You got 7. It's so easy. A lot easier than maybe what you think. So, but it's so important. I think you'll see a big difference in your plan.
It is a huge difference.
If you are following up, you're keeping yourself in front of them.
And if you want information on what a good retention policy looks like, we have a white paper on that.
Yes, we do. And I have that attached in the follow-up email as well. So yes, we will have that. Where was I going with that? We'll have that in the email. If you don't have a plan, get a plan ready.
Number 2, start going ahead and setting your Q1 follow-up appointments. Again, when you're asking for the appointments, there's what you do, set the expectation early. In the fact-finding introduction portion of your appointment, you say, this is not a one-time sale. I take care of my clients throughout their lifetime, so I'd like to have a minimum of 1, sometimes 2 appointments per year. What you do is at the end of the appointment, we have this really cool form on our AEP toolkit, which is a calendar year, and you literally circle the date, and it helps you set. It's kind of like an appointment setting card, but it's like that, and you literally just say like, hey, so today is Tuesday. It's Tuesday at 2 o'clock. Is Tuesday typically a good one for you? Well, let's just say, you know, today it's AEP, February 4th. That's a Tuesday. Does that work for you? Perfect. Week leading up to their appointment, you send them a reminder card, a reminder email, a reminder phone call, whatever that is, about a week out. And that's as easy as it is, but you have to set those expectations.
Yes, for sure. And like she said earlier, if you're busy this time of year and you feel like you don't have time to start setting up Q1 appointments, have your admin staff do that. Not that your admin staff isn't busy as well. It's busy for the whole office, I'm sure, but it's easy. Just go ahead and have someone in your office start setting up those appointments. And I think you will see that it'll make a big difference in how your clients feel appreciated by you. And it's just more FaceTime, which I think if we've learned, especially like during COVID and whatnot, how important having that FaceTime is just relationally. So yeah,
stay top of mind. Again, agents that we've talked to about doing this say that it is the game changer of their agency. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. we are not going to open up. Of course, it's been open the whole time, but we're going to now invite you guys to ask any questions, give us any comments, concerns, threats, or promises. Let us know what you think. Again, this is what we're here for. I'm very passionate about the follow-up appointment, which is a weird thing to be passionate about, but I am. So more than happy again to have further conversation about how this can make a difference in your agency.
Yes. While we're waiting for questions, can you tell me again where to find those appointment setting cards?
Yeah, absolutely. If you go to the AEP toolkit, so go to smsteam.net, scroll down to the bottom of the page, you'll see your AEP MA PDP toolkit. Click on that, and it's under the marketing portion. You'll see there it'll have some different marketing letters. It includes like letters, ways to network with pharmacies, things like that. It'll have an appointment page, so it'll have the entire 22 calendar. And then you can go ahead and like circle a date and it'll say upcoming an appointment. And you put it there at the bottom.
Cool. I have that AEP toolkit linked in the follow-up email, but I might go ahead and link those specific appointment setting cards in the follow-up email as well.
Please, yeah. Please. Awesome. Brian, it'll be okay. It'll be okay, Brian.
Brian, if you get anything from this webinar, it'll be okay.
It'll be okay.